For this portrait, I decided to go with a dark blondish hair color. The two darker colors will act as the low lights and the shading, and the two lighter colors will act as the highlights to bring out the blonde strands out of her hair, let's say. And I did a little practice swatch just to see if all the colors would work together, and I find that they worked really nice together. So I'm going to start off with the Van Dyke Brown. This is the same colors that I used for the eyelashes and the eyebrows. And I'm going to work from dark to light. And I'm going to add this dark to outline the hair. I'm going to use it as a shading color wherever the light wouldn't be reaching. For example, beside the petals, near the hairline, framing the face. So I'm going to apply right into the little spaces in between the petals. I'm going to apply just a little bit beside the leaves and the corners. Adding a little bit shading near the petals where the hair would naturally be darker. Okay, so now I'm going to bring out the Bister. Now I'm going to fill in pretty much almost all of the hair. This is the main color. This is a great color actually for blondish hair, and I'm just going to fill out all the strands with this color. I'm just using straight strokes down, kind of like using coloring pencils. Just coloring in, even going over the Van Dyke Brown, coloring in all the white. Again, you don't need to fill in all the white because, again, once you use the blending stump, the pigments are just going to blend in perfectly and instantly and quite quick. This is why I love pastel pencils. You just a few strokes, blend away, and it's done. So I'm just going to fill in all this whole entire area. Okay, I'm going to go in with the ochre dark, and this is like a mid-tone to her hair, and I'm going to start right on the edge of the middle, and I'm going to bring it outwards. I'm not going to totally cover all the hair. This is just going to give a little bit more interest and depth to her blonde hair. I'm just filling in some of those spots. I'm leaving some of the Bister showing. I don't want to totally cover it. Okay, so I'm going to take my medium to bigger blending stump, and I'm just going to blend all the colors together. And as I blend away, the darker color is going to blend seamlessly into the lighter color. I want it to look smooth, and I'm just see how the transition is quite smooth when you blend with the blending stump. The darker Van Dyke will blend nicely into the bistre, and then the ochre dark is blending quite nicely into the other colors, and it just produces a really nice hair color, I find. Okay, before I move on to the last step, I'm going to take out my kneadable art eraser, and I'm just going to clean off some of the edges where the color, some of the pigment might have fallen off. So I'll just go over the ribbon, the roses, just so the color doesn't mix in too much when I start to add the blue in for the ribbon. Okay, so now I'm going to take the last color. This is the highlight color of her hair. This is the color that's going to make her hair pop. And this is the ochre light. It's quite a bright yellowish color. And I'm going to focus more on the left side where the sun, in my mind, would be shining on her face. So I'm going to focus a lot of that color on that side. On the top, I'm going to add just a touch even on the other side, and even a little bit just there on the top of the other side of her head. Not as much, but still a little touch, a little highlight does make a nice difference. And then a little bit like around her face where her hair would be falling around her face. I apply the ochre light, the bright yellow, just on the curves. Once I apply the highlight color of the hair, I'm not going to blend it in. I'm just going to leave it as is. Just that pop of color, not blended, adds a little bit of texture, and if I blend it in, it will just kind of lose a little bit of that pop of color. So I'm just going to leave it as is. But I will go back with my Van Dyke brown and add some strands of hair just to add a more flowy look. Right now her hair kind of looks like it's just sticking to her face. So I'm just going to add a little bit of extra, flying hairs to make it look a little bit more natural, and yeah, basically make it look a little more natural, not so stiff. So I'm just going to add a little bit of squiggly lines, kind of following the curves, and I'm just going to continue applying lines kind of off of the edges of the other lines. So just be free with the lines. Take a deep breath and be quick with your lines. Curve them out a little bit. Let them flow a little bit outside of the main lines, and that will give the hair a more natural look. So I'm just going to clean up around the edges, and we'll move on to the ribbon next.